All right, everyone, we are ready. So what I'm going to do is I've got my screen share here, I'll say, before we begin the webinar today, I'll definitely start by sharing that, this webinar is being recorded and it'll be sent out afterwards. Everyone's on mute, but we will be monitoring the chat box as we go, tackling questions in our last segment of the day. So let's begin. So this is what we aim to cover today. First, let's explore how and why QuickBooks can be leveraged to better run your agency. Secondly, we will explore how Appulate connects in. Then we will fill in the blanks with more detail, make recommendations, even provide a real-world example of what we mean. And then lastly, like I just mentioned, we'll open it up for Q&A. So let's get to it. Many of us know how QuickBooks is a hugely popular way for businesses to handle their financials, but it's not an agency management system, far from it, actually. And so, we may also know that it allows you to accurately track and manage financial transactions alongside detailed insights into your business's financial health and trends. QuickBooks also is not structured out of the box to handle the complexities of an insurance agency, rather, things like direct bill versus agency bill, renewals, and so on. So what are some of the things we are trying to leverage here? Well, QuickBooks downloads transactions and credit card statements directly from banks, as well as bank account reconciliation to match transactions between the software and your statement. Let's not forget, it's a robust payment collection system. Lastly, how QuickBooks prices their software is hugely cost effective, especially compared to agency management systems costs. Example of this is that only accounting folks would need access, and it's a great way to keep your financials secure and apart from the AMS users. So how do we tie all this together and most importantly, make it work well? We already know Appulate's strengths, right? It's a powerhouse of a system when it comes to managing, tracking, and submitting business. Consider all of the points listed here, whether it's carrier integrations or its ability to handle more complex submissions with forms production. We make capturing business and running your agency easier. All of the above are great examples, or all the things listed here are also great examples of things that QuickBooks does not do, but of course Appulate does well. This means that Appulate really fills the role of running your agency in a holistic way. And so we've figured out how all of this is connected for the better, and that's what we plan to show you today. Lastly, acknowledging the fact once again, out of the box QuickBooks is not set up to handle the business of insurance. Consider these items here. We can be honest and admit that QuickBooks isn't going to be able to handle any of these, but of course they are native to Appulate, to the Appulate environment. So we're here to show you how all of this comes together. So let's better understand some of the following. First, how does QuickBooks accurately manage the financials of your agency? In our refined setup, how do downloads of transactions work, reconciliations, and so on? How does the payment collection process make all of this easier? And so with that, I am going to hand it over to my colleague, Dimitri, for a more in-depth look.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Okay, so I think I want to share my screen right now, right? I don't know if you want to give it to me. So I can, show my screen.
You got it. There you go.
All right, so, and I'll actually go on a limb and make myself visible in a webcam. I hope everybody can see me. Ooh, that's the wrong webcam. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Okay. I'll do it without webcam for now. All right, just let me share my screen real quick here. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, as Chris mentioned, QuickBooks is obviously very well known and a very powerful general ledger accounting system. So, the purpose of today's call is not to go into depths of all the different things that QuickBooks, very well cover as a general accounting system, whether it runs, your P&L report, uh, profit and loss, whether it's asset management, balance sheet, and whether it's something that you would use with your CPA to file your taxes and things like that. Obviously, QuickBooks has its own huge library of help and YouTube videos and stuff that show you how how QuickBooks handles all of those kind of general purpose accounting transactions that are needed for any business, not an insurance-related business necessarily, but any other business. The purpose of today's call, again, I'm not going to too much detail on that, but just kind of trying to give you a flavor. One of their, aside from the fact that obviously QuickBooks is not an agency management system, but also it's known not to be structured, even from the accounting perspective, to handle real well insurance-based transactions. So insurance accounting transactions, have unique aspect to it. You have trust accounts. You deal with premium, and and all of that needs to be properly taken into account in your financial statements. That the premium is not shown as your income, and so. What we have done in Appulate, we've kind of worked with the CPA firm, and we figured out how to fine-tune QuickBooks, how to organize it, how to set it up in such a way that is very convenient to be able to handle those kind of unique aspect of transactions, accounting transactions, but whereas insurance-related transactions. And here, all I want to show you is just a few slides. I mean, kind of a flavor of the kind of things I'm sure you deal with on a regular basis being an insurance agency. Like, for example, you get your monthly statement from a carrier of all their of all the commission that they owe you based on the book of business that you have with them, right? And so if it's if it's a big carrier, that and you have a lot of book of business with them, and especially if they get involved with something like monthly installments and stuff like that, becomes extremely tedious to be able to reconcile those statements with an accounting system. But what we have done is, and we kind of show an example of that how we kind of figured out how to take care of this in the combination with our integration with Appulate. There is a minimum amount of data entry and becomes very sleek and very convenient. And actually, my colleague Fernando will follow after my talk, and he's going to share his experience of running in actual operations using this setup. And he made a comment that he used other agency management systems in the past, like Appuate, MS360, and he found QuickBooks, when it comes to this kind of operations and taking care of these transactions, much more convenient, much easier, much more intuitive, and much faster. So, and again, this is, we're just showing you kind of a flavor. Okay, well, this is, for example, how do you handle their monthly statement reconciliation that you receive from the bank? I mean, not from the bank, from the carrier, but all the policies. Another type of transaction that you probably deal with is agency bill transactions. And an agency bill transaction is you are responsible for collecting the premium, and then you send that back to either to the carrier, to MGA that you work with, and that premium, obviously you retain your commission, you keep your service fee if you added that to the policy. Again, one other aspect of QuickBooks, which is very powerful, that it's not just an accounting system, but it's also kind of payment collection billing system as well. So integrated with QuickBooks, you can send like an invoice or financial statement to the actual insured and allow them to pay, click on the link and to pay, that premium that you're collecting, again, if it's an agency bill transaction, by either ACH or credit card. I mean, they can obviously send you a check as well, but it's all very nicely integrated and it's all synchronizes with QuickBooks, and QuickBooks also synchronizes it automatically with all the different bank accounts that you use. They have very powerful integration with pretty much all the major banks in the US. Again, it takes knowledge. How do you configure QuickBooks to be able to handle these transactions? But this is something that we figured out, and obviously, for anyone of you who is interested in giving this a try, we can help you, set up the QuickBooks in the right way, set up all the appropriate account items in it to be able to keep track of these transactions. So here's another example of a transaction. So you receive the payment of, let's say it's an agency bill transaction. You receive their premium, put it in your trust account, and you retain your commission, your service fee, but now you want to pay the net premium back to that MGA, to the carrier that you collected. Again, very powerful way in QuickBooks to keep track of that and pay it electronically right out of the QuickBooks. Again, we kind of figured out how to use QuickBooks in this capacity, and it's a very convenient, very powerful system to do so. So just a quick QuickBooks comes with hundreds of different financial reports, and whether it's a P&L statement, whether your sales, whether it's account receivables, accounts payable. I mean, there's literally hundreds of different reports built into the QuickBooks, but we enhance that with the type of reports that would be very convenient for you running as an agency. Again, something that we would more than willing to share to you, how to use QuickBooks, how to run those reports, how do you create those reports that allow you to do things like that. And with that, I guess I'm going to pass it on to my colleague, Fernanda, who is a general manager of an insurance agency called Volta.
Hello, everyone. My name is Fernando Samayoa, and as Dimitri mentioned, I am the GM of Volta Insurance Solutions. First and foremost, I wanted to give a huge thank you to the Appulate team for putting on this wonderful presentation and also allowing me to share mine and Volta's experience utilizing this integration. This integration has been a game changer for Volta. It really has transformed the way we operate and do business, not only internally, but also externally. This integration has given Volta all the necessary tools to track and record any and all agency and direct bill transaction. It has also facilitated the process of collecting and paying premiums. QuickBooks and Appulate is just a powerful tool that we've implemented at Volta. Another benefit of utilizing this integration is the ability to leverage QuickBooks' powerful accounting software to generate and record all financial and accounting reports. QuickBooks is incredibly user-friendly and has allowed myself and everyone at Volta to feel comfortable and fluent with the accounting side of things. I can't stress enough how this integration has expanded our workflow, from data synchronization to the automation of a lot of tedious tasks. Together, this integration has saved us countless hours and has also allowed us to redirect our focus to what us insurance agents do best, which is growing and servicing our book of business. I highly recommend this integration to any insurance agency or wholesaler, regardless of size. Once again, thank you so much to the Appulate team for allowing me to share my experience. If anybody has questions, please feel free to reach out.
Fantastic. Thanks, Fernando. Well, let's see here. We already do have some questions. Before we get to questions, I do want to wrap for the day. And so let's just recap a couple things here. First, we learned how QuickBooks can be leveraged to help run your agency's financials and accounting. We also learned the why behind it. Why is this important? Let's not forget that all this ties into Appulate to create a straightforward experience running your business. And then thanks to Fernando, we were able to round out our presentation today by giving you a real world example of what we mean. So with this, we are going to open it up for Q&A. We do have one question so far that I was going to tackle, or at the very least have me and my colleagues tackle. The question is, if a credit card through QuickBooks, if you use a credit card through QuickBooks, who pays the credit card fee?
I guess I'll take this. So as part of the QuickBooks credit card integration, it's built into the system that there's basically QuickBooks will collect a certain fee for the credit card transaction. So it's basically kind of your responsibility to pay that. But I mean, the way if you want to kind of pass it on to their to the insured who actually pays, you obviously can increase the invoice and say like if you if you want to pay it by credit card, we do a surcharge, and you're welcome to make that surcharge whatever you want, 3%, and that whatever their QuickBooks charges, you can basically pass it on, but it needs to be kind of explicitly set up in that invoice that you need to make sure you collect that money from your party.
Yeah, thanks, Dimitri. Had a couple questions related to recording. Yes, this is being recorded. We'll definitely send it out after we are done here today. I had a question regarding pricing. This QuickBooks integration is going to be built into the native pricing of Appulate itself. And so I would be happy to talk about that offline with you, Jeremy. And so we can definitely sync up at a time to give that to you. Good question.
Obviously, there is a separate fee for the QuickBooks itself, but again, as we discussed, it was highly cost effective.
Yes, that's a good call out. Thank you so much, Dimitri. QuickBooks licensing is truly through QuickBooks. It will stay that way. But in other words, we're not going to charge you for the integration here. You'll just pay for QuickBooks and Appulate. But yeah, we can definitely get to that when it makes sense. We got a question here. Somebody is having some issues with QuickBooks for 2022 and 2023. Are we able to help with previous years?
Well, a specific, experience with the online version of QuickBooks, right? So it's not a, old version where you kind of install a client-based system. So, I mean, our integration, I guess, and the experience of using the QuickBooks is with an online version. And I believe it's kind of one of the same. It's an online system and everybody on the same version. So regardless of when you sign up for it, if you're using the online version, you kind of, I think, always on the latest version of QuickBooks.
And yeah, definitely let me know, Yara, if that answers your question. It sounds pretty good to me, but I don't want to make assumptions there. We did have another question from Bruce. Are you thinking that Appulate and QuickBooks is the only AMS system that you would need? There's a couple different answers to that. For many agencies, yes, it would be sufficient. It definitely would accomplish a lot of what an agency would need out of an agency management system. So my short answer is yes, for many people it would. Let's not forget that some agency management systems have entire like sales, CRM, and marketing modules. Marketing meaning like sales and marketing. We don't have anything like that. We don't have any plans of doing anything like that. And so that's just me giving you really a no fluff answer to the question of how does Appulate fit into agency management systems. In summary, it will for many agencies. I had a question from Letitia. Yes, absolutely. We will send out a recording asking about if this is being recorded and will it be sent out? Absolutely. Yes, we'll send that out after we're done here. All right, good question from Tammy here. Can we be a little bit more detailed about the direct bill transactions for insurance companies? She goes on to say, will that be sent out to customers in this business? A little bit more of an in-depth explanation on what this integration offers.
Sure. Well, in direct bill transaction it's the carrier that collects money directly from the insured. Whether it's installments on or they collect the whole premium up front, and so they are the ones who actually interacting with the insured to collect the payment, and then from our experience, it's at the end of the month they would typically send you a statement. Here is your book of business. Here are all the different payments that we've collected, from your insured, whether it's installment, again, or full amount, and and here is your commission, right? And so they basically send you this big statement. Again, if your book business is large, hundreds of items, it'll be like 100 entries there, and then they send you a corresponding check. Okay, here is your $3,000 based on kind of our calculation of all the different policies that you have, and based on the money that we've collected. So what we've done on integration with QuickBooks is that you're able to reconcile that. So you would maintain your book of business within Appulate, and you would, as part of that, you will keep track of what the premium, what is the commission that you're supposed to collect, and so when that statement comes from the carrier, you're simply able to reconcile and verify that all carrier didn't miss anything. So they truly have all the different policies that you have with them, that you pay, that you're collecting money on. So it's basically just reconciliation type of process where you matching the payment that you receive from the carrier against kind of your records of what the money that they would owe you based on your book of business and all the commission that you have. Hope that answered the question.
Yeah, thanks, Dimitri. I had another question from Bruce. Does our refined setup of QuickBooks help with paying producer commissions? How does producer commissions fit in?
Well, okay, so if it's retail operation, meaning that the producer is an employee of your company, yeah, we definitely can help you with that. But also, if you wholesale operation, for example, and you pay outside producers, so we figured that part out as well. So yeah, you can definitely keep track of paying your internal people, and or again, if you wholesale operation and you're paying actually outside producer their share commission, you can do that as well.
Tammy has another good question. Is there a way to download carrier statements into QuickBooks? Is there anything related to carrier statements and bringing that into QuickBooks?
Well, I mean, so that screenshot that I showed you is kind of our mechanism. So the idea being, when the policy gets sold, you set up an Appulate. That's you sold this policy. It's the amount of premium. If it's a case where there's an installment, Appuate will calculate all of the different payment schedule for that particular carrier, right? So for every month. And all of that data is going to be exported out and fed into QuickBooks. So when an actual statement comes to you at the end of the month from that carrier, you simply match it up. You just want to make sure you kind of verifying, okay, yeah, so the carrier didn't miss anything, that everything that they're supposed to pay you is included in that statement. And it's just a quick, very convenient process where you just literally go check, yes, this payment received, that corresponds to our records. And if you see any discrepancies, obviously QuickBooks immediately flagged that because the total amount of check would not sum up to the same amount. So it will just, your statement will not reconcile. So there's a lot of checks and balances in QuickBooks to this effect to make sure that you don't lose any money and nothing nothing kind of gets lost there.
Excellent. Thanks again, Dimitri. Tammy, yeah, definitely let us know if that answers your question, or if you'd like more clarification there. These are really good questions coming in. Thank you. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to hang out here for a little bit longer, let everybody get their questions out. The questions have slowed slightly, and so we're gonna stick around for a little bit longer and then shut it down for today.
Chris, as a parting, you may want to share with people how to contact us if anybody who's interested, giving this a try.
Yeah, absolutely, great stuff. Good recommendation. I had a good question from Bruce here. Do we integrate with any other accounting programs? I believe the answer would be QuickBooks is the only one so far, but let me know otherwise, Dimitri.
That is correct. So yeah, but if you guys, if you're using any other, let us know what other accounting system you guys using, and we can take a look at it.
Yeah, good stuff, everyone. All right, so we will end this webinar session, this recording, in about 2 minutes, 2 minutes or less. So, please get out any questions that you'd like. Otherwise, we can sync up after this when time permits. Thank you. All right, everyone. I hope everybody's having a great day. We'll end the recording at this point. You all take care. Thank you for joining us today. Goodbye.